Yeah, I would do
So
that.
it just had a light sensor and pulse width modulation outputs, so they could just hook the motor up to it, and it would time and run the motor so long. And
Pickaxe has a lot of good. I mean, I guess maybe the quality can vary, but they've got a lot of. They've built up a lot of docks for a lot of cases at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been around for a while.
Pickaxe has been around for a very, very long time.
So if you do something in particular, it's generally not too hard to find.
And
it looked like it
Find
was
something ready-made to get it right.
ultra compact.
yeah.
And
Yeah, they're only
good sampling of IOs and.
I actually started with a pick. And then I moved from pick. Well, I didn't really. I bought a few pickaxes by mistake. I thought they were picks, and I bought some pickaxes. And I went, oh, okay, cool. They're the same, sort of different, a little different, but the same. And then I went, for a long time I didn't use anything, and then got stuck with Arduino. The pickaxes are programmed in BASIC, so it's not C or anything. So usually they're easier to pick up programming. The picks could be programmed in either C or BASIC. And then, of course, Arduino is programmed in Arduino IDE.
Well, it's C.
It's C.
It's C. It's C with libraries.
It's C-ish. It's C.
Oh, it's pretty much C.
It's
with libraries.
Yeah, I guess it is C.
You can compile C from, like you can actually use a regular C tool chain with it.
It doesn't. C has, what is it? Main and something else instead of void and loop.
Sometimes. Let me find those.
But it's C. I don't know. And the little teeny tiny pickaxes, they don't require a whole lot of external hardware. I think I put a capacitor on one and something else, but that was to filter the power, not to actually make it work. That was just to keep it nice.
That was one of his mentions, was they're real touchy on the power.
Yeah.
You know.
Um,
He was even using his RCA or Sony remote. He says it'll pick that up.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. They're really the first microcontroller I ever used. I like them. We seem to be in a world where Arduino's just kind of taken over, and it's a little bit more of a modern.
Yeah, you can get a teeny and do some small project.
Well, the programming of it is a lot more modern than, you know, the pickaxe. You're stuck in BASIC like from 1980 something.
Which is fine which, I guess to be honest, if you're using a pickaxe, then it's usually only doing like a few things at a time, so it's not really.
Well, those little teeny tiny ones, the little 8-pin pickaxes, they don't have a whole lot of memory to them anyway. But I've used them. I've got them in a couple of different projects at the house. So, but I don't know. See, what was the question? Is it good or something? And that's a relative term.
Yeah, at least you didn't say it's a major pain in the ass. You know.
I think they're pretty easy to use. I like that I built the programmer myself. itself, it was a couple of resistors and a couple of capacitors and a 9-pin DB9 socket. I mean, you didn't need anything special to really make that thing work.
Oh, I did run into a few things. I did run into a few things while doing research for our project. One is, one moment. I gotta find my docs again. Have you ever done hash checks for your downloads?
Do what? Hash checks?
Have you ever done check the the checksums for your downloads?
I haven't done that in years.
It's funny. I ended up having to do that because it's funny. So I ended up having to do that because when I was downloading Keybase 2, their main thing still comes from SourceForge. And well, for a lot of reasons, I don't particularly like SourceForge. They have mirrors elsewhere. I ended up getting it from FossHub, but it's in a separate mirror. Like you're not sure. Like, are these guys serving the same files? So I ended up doing that.
Right.
Just to make sure they're okay. And you're right, I haven't done that in a while, but it's funny. It's like a little odd case when I ended up having to do it because now it's like, now I either just get everything off. Usually I either get everything directly off the dev site or I get it off of a package manager or something. I never have to worry about it as much, but it still exists.
I think the last time I checked a checksum, I had to have probably been for the very first version of Ubuntu I ever downloaded, and it wasn't working right. So I checked the checksum of the ISO. That was probably 2004.
That's weird. It's just that I did that, but it happens. Still exists.
Yeah.
Although I did make the interesting discovery that, and I didn't think this was the case, but Windows actually does have a not so well known built-in utility for doing that. Just because, because before that, like every time I had to do that, I'd have to download like hash check or something for as a shell extension. But apparently you can do it on Windows. There is and for some reason it's bundled into certutil. For whatever reason, if you do like certutil actually does have a function called hash file that will do it, and it's built. And from Windows 7, I think Windows XP doesn't have it built in, but I think either it started with Vista or 7, and from then onward it's been built in. Which is funny because
that's like really funny. That's like newer, so you would use it less.
Yeah, but it's because I ended up running across that, and I found it weird because like all the answers you'd run across, like does Windows have a built-in? No. But then someone tries like, oh no, it does. This command that like got bundled in and no one knows it exists.
Windows had, or they had a lot of network utilities that no one knew were in there.
Pretty much.
Yeah. I don't know if they still do. I have really not played with Windows 10 more than to install it and get some updates.
Windows 10 does have a crazy, wonderful feature they haven't really mentioned much about, and that is they actually now have a decent editor for path.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Remember that pain in the ass? It's like, oh god, I gotta copy this off to Notepad. I don't want to edit my entire freaking path. In that little itty bitty window that won't get any bigger.
There are some things in Windows 10 that, I mean, that's a useful feature, but there are other things that I go, why is it here? Why wasn't it included 20 years ago when it might have actually been relevant? Why do we have this now? Which I think is actually one of the complaints of Windows 10 is they brought a whole lot, like some of the wizards are still like very classic, like Windows 95 wizards that pop up and ask you to do stuff. And it's like, yes, that was a relevant thing in 95, maybe 98, maybe even 2000, but it is not relevant now. And it makes the GUI and everything else just look horrible. And then they do all kinds of other really neat things.
Does Notepad is default Notepad still the only text editor in freaking existence that can't handle Unix line endings?
As far as I know.
Really?
Oh, right.
That is still the weirdest thing. Like, why not? It's like, it's not even the platform. It's like every other text editor on Windows can handle it no problem.
What is it missing?
For some reason,
Notepad
cannot handle Unix line endings.
It just doesn't do the line ending track.
And it's not an issue that comes up very often because every other editor can do it.
Yeah, that's usually why you get people that install Notepad Plus or something because Notepad just sucks.
And weirdly enough, it's still find it weird, but WordPad will do it.
WordPad will do it, but Notepad
it's already
won't.
in there, and I'm like,
yeah.
Okay, why does Notepad still exist?
I actually still use Notepad to do really quick notes, but
Quick and dirty.
yeah, but see, Windows or Linux can read Windows files no problem. It formats them right and everything, but Windows just has this problem with, or Notepad just has this problem with.
Mac can too.
Mac can too.
Mac and Linux now use the same line endings.
So if I have to save a file for like you to read in Notepad,
looking all tactic cool now.
Yeah. The reason I have the fourth one is because when I was doing the half droid, I come up with a page and a half worth of updates, and then I was like, well, instead of having the battery jam in from the side, different from everybody else, I decided to go back to this kind of a technique. And but before, I had actually found a way to push the motor driver down to a previous level, a lower level. And so I actually have the entire length, front to back, has a battery chamber. And considering it's a larger robot, or at least the full droid is, I'm going to go ahead and stick with that. So we'll, but in order to get the full battery front to back, I had to move some supports. It ended up being somewhat of a major undertaking to redo the half droid. So that's why it's not done in here today.
It is the ABS.
No, this is styrene.
Really?
This is less expensive than ABS, less fumes, less stink. It actually laser cuts better.
Nice.
It weighs about 15% less than ABS. You can also get this in a much lower density, but it's not as easily found.
Do something. Go.
Sorry.
It's not a program.
No.
Although I
think it is.
guess I wasn't
Yeah, I got
here
an
when
issue
this
with it.
guy came in. What's this guy?
Oh, this is the Biddy rover.
No, I
From
mean
here
like
down.
this stock.
The antennas,
Is that for?
This
oh, that's
is to
an
make
An
antenna.
antenna mast.
this is to make it look like Boba Fett.
It says antenna mast. Okay.
Oh.
It says right on there.
Okay.
What it's for is that in the case of this robot, the antenna mast can go either down here or up here.
So if you need anything that needs an antenna, you can.
Well, you can go with the Wi-Fi, the Bluetooth, and in particular, the reason was the compass. Okay.
Oh.
The 5883
Yeah, 'cause
compass.
if you have your compass down there, it's gonna
Right.
Yeah.
When it's so close to the motors down here,
it'll stick to it.
yeah. Well, it blows it away. So what we decided to do, what they recommended, was to get it as far away as possible. And I was like, well, what the hell? Why don't I just put it on a stick?
But Ray improved on the stick idea and made it even better than a stick.
So there's mounting on the side here, mounting on the top, and there's holes going down the antenna mast for zip ties. So if you needed zip ties to hold in.
It's pretty like this will stand up to being drilled, right?
Yes, this is a whole lot better than ABS. ABS is it's a lot harder.
If you
And
drill
also,
it, it's a bit tricky.
This is much better than acrylic. This, as far as being brittle, this stuff isn't. It's just not brittle. You can screw into it with no questions, no problems.
And you've only broken one.
I've only broken one, yeah. Out of all the stuff that I did with the acrylic, it was brittle. I mean, it really was. And every time that I've broken these, it's because I was goofing around and I actually threw it off the table. Like, hey, watch this.
You don't break.
Yeah.
Oops.
But I've been really trying to make these versatile and all that fun stuff. I put the bracket or the mounting bracket for the display is the same as the mounting bracket for the ultrasonic sensor as far as the mounting point.
So you can move them.
So you could move the display down here, put the ultrasonic up here.
That's a good idea.
And I also made one for the servo, so you can put the servo
Back there.
and put the display up here, whatever you want.
That's probably backwards.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh. Were you able to?
I didn't mess with the other OLED display. I thought about making something that would fit onto that one.
It could always be an option. You could always cut something later. And
Yeah. I thought about doing something with this, but every bit of the 8x10, because that only uses, basically it's an 8x10 piece of material, but every bit of it's being used. I mean, there might be a little bit of flimsy scrap left over.
it was an idea after.
Yeah, this one uses an 8x24 inch,
Yeah.
and now it uses an 8x24. And yeah, every bit of it that I can.
No,
I use every bit of the material.
I totally agree.
I mean, you know how like inside this access area, we're using this, and then inside that access area is a servo horn.
Yeah, you're using every bit of it.
Yeah. So I designed some specialty servo horns. So.
Oh, for your.
Well, it has some flexibility in it. So that when these holes right here in the front are intended for an ink pen, okay, or a marker.
Oh.
So that's what those are for. So what happens? I got a pencil.
So
We're in a drawing program.
Yeah. And it'll run around. But there's a servo down in there, and the servo will be set up to where it can lift and lower the. So it can lift and lower the pen. Well, what I had designed it for was a 10 millimeter marker, and so that's why the hole is so big it's in there. And then I was like, well, the whole idea behind this whole design has been making things as small as possible. So I took apart a clicker pen, and it turns out that the inside ink component is a very standard 3mm. So, like here, what I did on these is I used a 3mm hole with a knockout, so that you could put the ink pen piece down in there, and then I'm still using the similar servo horns. I don't even know where I put the other one. Here it is. So I got flexible servo horns, so if I want to push down harder for the ink pen, I can do that without causing too much dire damage. Okay, and then this servo horn has got a lot of flexibility, and that's pretty good, I think, to have that much flexibility in the design. Because if you wanted to go up or down,
like you said, that material's not as brittle, so.
Right. So all you do is clamp it to the ink pen component and tell it to go down. I mean, it's so if you're not perfectly level, if you're gonna hit a bump or something, it has a lot of flexibility there, and it's also very, very small.
Use that as a spring.
Yeah. So I got that kind of a deal going on here, and over there. I didn't know if I was going to use a wire or what I would do, but the more that I thought about a wire, it's like, well, what the hell? I got all this extra styrene and segments of the styrene open space. But yeah, why not? Go ahead and just do this. So then I had to make sure I lasered this in a way that doesn't cause this to warp because of the heat or stuff. So there's a binding tags or bridges in there. So it's growing. But yeah, the other half droid is very, very close to being done. If it wasn't for those damn customers, I would have been done today. So those damn customers.
Those customers paying the bills and everything.
So get those customers done, and I've got the half droid. As soon as that's done, I'll migrate the rest of the droid.
That's the new compact.
And there's the biddy. There's the biddy rover that everybody got, or well, sort of.
That's not so biddy anymore.
No.
The compact got another stage.
Compact really needed it.
Another level on there, and it's got the antenna.
It's actually got almost all the features for almost all the features that the big Void has.
You ever think about a rechargeable battery?
That's why these don't have anything in them.
Space?
I made as much space as I could for whatever option of a battery that somebody wanted. There's enough space in there for LiPos, the 16850s or 18650s, whatever they are.
18650s, I think.
And then there's also enough space for 8 AA batteries. On that one, it's only AAAs. It's 6 AAAs. But these all have space for the 8 AAs.
AA's will run for a while.
Yeah. Yeah. And the way that the schematic is done up, the full voltage from the batteries goes to the motor driver board, and then according to the switch, and then that voltage also goes back to the Arduino clone to be regulated down. I was looking at some of the layout, and I think that what I'm going to end up doing is suggesting in the schematic that they use that 5-volt regulator that's on the motor driver board. Use that for the line follower sensors. Use that for some other stuff. That might reduce some of the load on the regulator for the Arduino.
I thought we had decided that regulator wasn't really all that good.
It isn't all that great, but I mean it's better than nothing. And the
I guess
the line follower sensors aren't going to be pulling more than 30, 40 milliamps. So
You mean for one or for
all of them.
I don't. Seems like they're gonna use more than that. The ones you use.
I don't think they did. They don't.
I will be happy to put them on a meter and tell you exactly what they do pull.
I can look it up too. I just remember.
If
the thing.
if we trust the data sheets,
The
Yeah.
current draw for a lot of them. But for one, it's not bad.
well, there's only 5 of them, so it's not going to be horrible.
Yeah, and I'm sure the regulator is built into there is. This is the only thing I hate about the black styrene. You can't see through it. But I love that with the other one, the acrylic stuff. You just look right through it. I'm like, oh yeah, that's what it looks like. It's not quite the same with these.
Well, yeah, my alpha bots that I got from you, I love them because I can see right into them. Look, there it is.
Is that like a TO
I don't know what.
220 or a?
Have you considered using like a what are they called? Like a quick release posts for like the
snapping these together? It all
Yeah.
comes down to money
At some point.
and cost.
like I
At
forget what
some
they're
point, it
called.
always
Oh,
gets
God.
there.
Yeah.
It's like now I can't remember the exact thing, but I know for I think maybe they still do for RC car bodies. They have like these posts, which that, like usually your chassis
Yeah.
come with these posts with the clips.
I've been thinking lately about how can I make, styrene-based clips because I've got all this extra styrene rather than using these standoffs.
So did
But
you look at those Aquabot things?
I guess you're
No.
still in alignment on that.
the problem, I don't want something that snaps together so easily, but could be broken also so
Yeah, that's
easily.
true.
When you look at some of the snap together plastic for motherboards and other stuff, they're not exactly cheap. You're only going to be snapping together once or twice, and some of the stuff you're going to be taking together and apart several times.
He ain't lying.
This should be at the level of a Heath kit. Heath kits went together pretty good. And once they were together, they held up.
Yeah, I mean these are decent kits.
I'm thinking once you get the motor drivers in,
You're not going to
The
get
lower-
lower there.
the lower thing, you don't need to take that off anymore. You might. So taking the top part off shouldn't be a big deal. It's only like 4 or 5 screws.
But at that point, it's like, okay, well, consistency of design. Just, I've gone away from so many of the 25, 35, 45 millimeter standoffs. I'm going away from the 25s.
Yeah.
These are 35, 45, 25, 35, 45, and that's a 35. 35 and a 45 on top. I think
These, Jeremy,
there's a
that thing, it
35,
won't let me
45,
click on it,
45.
but that thing kind of snaps together like you're talking about.
Like actually, I think I don't exactly know what they are, but like I can probably retrieve a picture.
Remember the shadow version of the robots I think we were looking at a while back? They were using ABS, and their part of their claim was, oh, it just snaps together, or if you're going to use this other board, then just snap that together. And I didn't care for it. It felt like it was not meant to be a robotic that would last.
Should be in that drawer there.
This drawer? Oh, there it is. I am blind.
anyway, I don't want to over-design it. Not that I haven't already. But yeah, there's a certain point where it's just like, okay, it's good enough, and for the cost, it's way better than others.
Ship it.
Yeah, ship it. Hey, it's done. Ship it. Can we ship it now and make money? No. Okay, well, sorry. Yeah, I don't want to go too far, but they've come a long way. Definitely have.
Oh, sorry. Did I?
No,
did I eat yours?
No, I changed you over so you could do it.
But yeah, I don't know if there's a formalized name for it, but for
Yeah, those
they have these things which
those are on my RC car, and they are kind of handy, but they're kind of overkill for this, I think.
Yeah, true. They are available for they're designed to release very quickly, and they hold on the current volume.
I'm buying 12,000 of those, and 60,000 of those.
Ray's basically saying, I'm done. I'm not designing any more stuff. This is it.
It's 12,000 of those, and 60,000 of those, and by the time I bought that quantity, the things were really cheap, but it was still like $13,000 worth of stuff. So, and I'm done there.
Ray's not ready to change the design anymore.
No, I spent a shitload of money in January and December, so I am done. I'm so done.
Anyways, I don't believe I've seen you before.
Nope, I was here last week, and that was my first time. So
okay. Hey.
What's your name?
Chris. I was going to say Chris, but
My name is Frank.
Hi, pleasure.
Frank, I'm Mike. Wasn't here last week either.
I'm Leroy.
Jeremy.
Ray.
Okay. I remember the two of you.
And I'm gonna take a wild guess. You either do JavaScript or Ruby for a living.
I do C++. Thank you very much.
Oh. I was hoping I could nail that one. Here doesn't work.
Rails would be next.
I've actually used Rails. I've at least touched web programming, but web programming, I usually stick to lower level languages.
So the beard roll does not work.
So I got a lot of pieces and parts that are on order, soon to be in shipment.
When are you going Kickstarter?
As soon as I've got the half droid, full droid, and an arm built, that's when I'll be doing Kickstarter. So I need to at least be able to show these are the design ideas for getting us started.
I still think you may just be better off doing one or two of the designs on Kickstarter and having the other ones available for sale.
That could work.
I mean, you could show them.
Okay, convince me that Kickstarter is a good idea. I mean, I know people are doing it.
It's a bit of a.
Give me a sales pitch.
It is a bit of a crapshoot. I mean, you want a plan B.
If you have a decent product, and you don't want to be locked into this is a truly finished product, and you know that hey, this is never ever a truly finished product, and your customers are going to understand this is not a tried and proven and mature product, then you stand a fairly good chance of selling $700,000 worth of stuff.
Let me see this.
Okay, so it's for early adopters.
Yeah.
So I will say, in order to do it well, one, you kind of want a plan B, and two, you want to make sure that if you do get funded, that you can follow through.
Yeah, you gotta be able to follow through.
Because if you actually get funded and you don't follow through, you're gonna have a hard time.
See, I think from my perspective, I buy a lot of stuff from Kickstarter. Ray's got a huge jump on a bunch of these people because he's already got his design.
Most of the time, they're trying to get some money to sort of fund it.
Yeah.
He's already got it. So. With
Thanks.
Kickstarter.
Well, no, it's true. A lot of places need the money.
They need the money just to get their idea done because they don't even know how or hey, how can we laser this? We don't know. We got to go borrow somebody's laser. Well, I don't have to worry about that. And
Yeah.
So in your case, what does Kickstarter do for you?
Well, what it's going to exposing, it's going to rapidly exposing to a bunch of people that are interested in robotics and technology in general.
let me answer the question if I can. It validates me.
Yeah.
You complete me. No, everybody wants to judge their hobby and say, well, is this a successful hobby? Is it a fun hobby? And I think Jim helped me to at least come up with that answer a couple weeks ago.
Right.
Of yeah, I got enough money to build my robots that I want to. I'm good at doing the designs. I really do believe these are great designs. So why the hell do I care to sell 200-300 of them? Just because if I can sell them, then it proves to me that it was a viable business plan and that people are interested in them, and that I'll get a lot of feedback and approval. Because what the hell else am I looking for?
You'll get both. This was a really good feedback, and it needs to be improved here.
And if it gets far enough, I would be happy to just say, hey, open source, you guys can have all the designs on these, go laser range you want.
Is that the American way?
No.
Will Bill Gates do that?
He lets a computer circuit board, all that's open architecture, write all the languages you want. He has a job. So
it does seem to be makers want open source stuff for some reason.
Yeah, if I sold enough of these, I'd be like, you guys can have them. You can make as many as you want.
Well, that's if it is open source, then you do get the benefit of community, and technically you can kind of sell the fabrication of it rather than the plans for it.
I want the schematic to be open. Everybody can have that. I think the source code should be open source.
Yeah.
I mean, really,
what's left is, in the end, do I want to give everybody the designs for building these?
Can I know if I want it and just trace it?
Sure, you could.
So that's 20 minutes, and
so,
all your secrecy is
A
done.
whole lot more than 20 minutes.
Yeah.
to an extent, it's if he doesn't do it, then I mean, it's not exactly something you need.
I've seen
something I want to
Well,
patent
anyway. So
I've seen tech companies on both ends. They open source and they've closed source their stuff, and both are viable. Usually the open source ones get their funding a whole lot faster for the simple reason, like he said, the community gets behind it and improves it.
well,
That's how you end up with stuff like
hardware is a little bit different.
that.
because, I mean, at least with hardware, you do have a clear path to monetization, even if you release schematics, because essentially you manufacture the stuff for everyone who doesn't want to manufacture it itself. And that's going to be a pretty large portion of your users.
So if somebody does grab one of these, unbolts it, unscrews it, whatever, lays all the pieces out, scrunches them together, and says, okay, well, now I can trace them all out, or take a photograph of it on a white background and use Corel to trace it all. Okay, so now they're building it themselves. At what point is it worth it for them to build it or just buy it?
Well, that would be my thought,
It's
because
not worth it, unless you're thinking the same thing, like mass production.
you'd need your own laser machine or access to your own laser machine.
That's why I sell laser machines.
I'm just saying. But open sourcing has made mundane hardware better. I mean, that's how you end up with some of this stuff. They take an Arduino and they take a Raspberry Pi and they smush them together, and you come up with a Linux machine with Arduino headers.
So how about the guys that are selling the $250 thermostats? The Nest of the world.
It's Nest.
That's why I'd be anxious.
I went out and bought that board that you got.
It's Nest.
The
Nest isn't open source, is it?
the
I didn't
IoT
think
board
so.
with everything on it.
I don't know.
Programmed really slow.
It is-
It's right here with it.
They've got an open API though, don't
It's
they?
a 8266 on the. Oh yeah, with the rest of it.
Some of their packages are.
I bought one of those.
I don't know
I had time for it.
how much of it is.
Most of that is the software. I've been trying to get into how to construct it real well. That's why I brought my stuff today.
Oh, we have stuff.
You've already seen the demo.
Oh, I've already
The
seen
thing I did was I added the temperature on. But I've been trying to think about, this is not a very good construction. And I bought some of those,
What's your mounts?
these things are too smart. There's no mount, it's surface.
Yeah, what?
These things are too small.
Let me see your breadboard. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, so do you want me to laser you a mounting area, prototyping area with like 2.5 millimeter mounting points? That way, make it easier for you?
Well, you kind of do these things, but what I'm thinking in my mind, what I didn't want to do is I'm probably gonna have to make print wire board. Solder it to the board. There's not a lot of wires on it.
let me see your little headers.
Yeah, Jim sent me the link for those things, and I was counting on that. Put it in the copper clad kind of board, but the pins won't fit it.
They're not the right pens.
Yeah.
Those are
Spacing on?
for,
No, they're small. They're small.
They're too small.
Yeah.
I can actually see that.
are those .1s or what are you?
Yeah, they're like way too small.
When you get one of these things, get the version 2. Get the version 2 or version 3.
I already bought it.
I'm just discovering. This one's version 1, and it breaks out a lot of I/O. This one is cheap. It's like version 0.9, but they got a lot of reserved pins that they don't break out.
I wish I knew that you needed some of these. I've got some that are the right pitch.
You do.
Yes. So I can bring you some next
Better
week
do
or
like a
whatever.
copper clad.
I wish I would have known that because I would have brought them today. But I found them on eBay and they're the
I
right.
got these on eBay. I took Jim's link. I went straight on out there.
Jim ordered the wrong stuff. Jim probably hasn't even looked at it. He probably just ordered it.
What's this?
Oh.
So.
I've got an electrical design question. I do mostly software. I'm trying to wake up in Arduino when a voltage changes like from just a resistive divider being tweaked and have it sleep otherwise.
So you got analog, you have an analog signal coming in or something?
Right. Yeah. So best I've got for that is
While it's in sleep, it's not dead. It's just in a much slower rate.
Yeah.
So you can set up that either in an interrupt to, and during that interrupt it just polls.
Yeah.
And if it finds that value has changed, then it can wake up.
Are you using which Arduino are you using?
The Uno for right now. I've been poking around for some low power designs. I'll probably dial down to a bare arm at some point. But
And you're looking for an analog, or are you just looking for a change?
right, yeah, I'm looking to hold the wake up pin low when a change happens.
You should just use regular digital.
An analog change or a digital change?
Analog change.
Okay.
But
Analog?
When you say low, you mean 0 versus 5 volts versus like 3 volts?
TTL 0, yeah.
Okay, you just use regular digital.
No, he wants to wake it up,
Yeah, but
he's looking at the analog value.
Well,
it goes low.
Well, no, let's say the analog value is at 1.85. and if it hits 1.95, that's a change. And by knowing that it has changed, he wants to go and wake it up.
Right, so it needs.
Where does the signal come from?
Just a resistive divider.
Potentiometer.
So
I mean, I'll probably find a lower power implementation of that somewhere else, but that's the starting.
an interrupt isn't going to work because on the Uno, the interrupts are only on digital pins 2 and 3.
Is there a software interrupt? You're looking hardware.
You have these
Well,
delays in there.
Or
you could
Check it every minute.
you could probably
what's it
write
doing
one.
during its
Yeah,
low power? The
you
low
know-
power's not dead. It's still going to be able to run some code.
Okay, so that's got to wake you up, what, every second or so.
Oh, it's not waking up every second or so. It's actually
It's
running
never-
much slower.
It never really goes to sleep.
Now,
Not-
you
running
no
really,
power
really slow.
with battery or what?
A coin cell, ideally, yeah. But
This is a pretty good battery, but this thing will run this for 8 hours. I tried that last night, so
for at least a month.
month, okay. You can't have it doing anything.
Do I?
It can't be doing much if it's gonna run for a month on coin.
Well, instead of running at 16 megahertz, it'll run at what, 38 kilohertz.
Yeah, you can change the timing, I suppose.
It goes really, really slow, and that's why it takes up so much less power. It changes, instead of using the external oscillator, it uses an internal oscillator. So your ability to do serial communications are just gone.
Yeah.
But you can at least look at an analog signal. The problem
The,
you might run into,
the Arduino may not be the right board for what you want to do.
Have you searched out there for projects or low power projects?
A couple. I found one. I found one. JEEapps.com. I think he was actually using parasitic power to power into a couple capacitors off just an AC off of just an AC mains line.
Wow.
He was able to send out. He was able to get it to wake. Again, just being a parasite on one leg of just the magnetic field, to actually to charge a couple caps and get a radio in a micro to wake up and do a chirp every 2 seconds while there's power. Not quite what I'm after, but it's a starting point. And I was hoping to start with a friendlier environment and pare back down to that. But
Well, Arduino is a friendly environment.
Arduino is a great board to learn on, but it may not.
No,
It may not necessarily be the easiest board to do what you want to do. Did that just make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Not sure.
have you considered using a PIC? Because then you can just
Yeah,
do a chip and
How much
just
power
the
do you
hardware that
think
you
there
need.
I don't think much.
Do I?
I don't think you need much to run.
I ran a PIC on 9 volts for like, God, I don't know how long, years.
On a 9-volt battery?
On a 9 volt battery. Running a little, it was just doing toggling LEDs on and off. And that's all it was doing.
I did it. I was a jerk. I put a coin cell, a PIC chip, and an IR, and I took it all, and I used a clothespin to put it on my friend's curtain in his living room. You know what I did, right? I was messing with his television.
What about the invisible?
Sending signals to it, to the remote?
What about the invisible buzzing sound that's in somebody's room done
Oh,
with
the
a PIC?
cricket.
Oh, God.
This is mean.
A PIC might be good though. I missed part of it because I got a text message. Did you say you needed Wi-Fi or
yes, that's kind of.
That's the tough one.
the
Wi-Fi,
photon
yeah.
spark particle?
I ran across this actually. Yeah.
They have. I'm pretty sure they can actually go to sleep and wait for a certain change.
That probably would.
So I would look at, and the particles they're not quite Arduino, but they're very easy to use. So.
I'm no stranger to embedded programming. I can go with a bare chip. I certainly not have to. But.
Right. I would look at particles, photon.
Okay.
There's a couple of other ones, like there's a new one that came out, the Oak, from a different company. He's not quite ready yet, but it's going to be an extremely low-powered chip as well. Even something like what Frank's got, the ESP8266s, they're not very power. Well,
if you keep it on all the time.
You can make those go to sleep.
They do the same thing. They put them to sleep.
You can make the Wi-Fi go to sleep on those and just turn on when you need it.
Yeah, I would just prefer to have it on. This is kind of like a garage door controller. So, I mean, you want to be able to hit it at any time.
Yeah, drive your car up there, tell it to wake up, wait 30 seconds, then give it a command to open the door. No.
Now that one needs to be on all the time, but you can actually put those to sleep. So,
Okay.
So there are definitely some other options for you, and all of those options are. I mean, you probably won't have a problem with the programming part, no matter what, but all those options are fairly easy because they're all based off of Arduino.
Mm-hmm.
So they all got their start. Talking about open source, that's one of the benefits of open sourcing that stuff. Now you've got dozens of boards that do dozens of different things. So.
Okay. Have you tried CMake for Arduino?
Which?
Have you tried CMake for Arduino?
I haven't yet, no.
No. It's something to try. So something to check out.
You mean the build system, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because then you don't have to use the Arduino IDE. Since you probably already have your own tool chain used to do C.
So I just looked it up just quickly on an actual Arduino. You're going to have to get in there and mess with the timing, just like he said, which may or may not be a pain in the butt to actually do.
Probably will. If you don't use any libraries or anything, that's what the time just sort of.
Yeah. So I don't think Anu knows what you really want to.
Okay. All right, that's entirely fair. Just clocking it down is still having it hold it.
You probably could do all of it. It
Well,
just depends on how much you want to depend on all the stuff that comes with it.
Yeah.
You're going to control the world, all your software.
Right.
Not a big deal.
I still can't get over the idea of having an off-board trigger that is actually designed to use ultra low power stuff. I can find a quad op amp that sucks.
We're
my
some
program.
CMOS 555.
555.
Low power 555.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
There's actually like a bunch of different possibilities to conquer that problem. So, I was thinking, and while Ray's here, maybe we can figure it out. Do you have one of his robots?
Which one?
One of the.
No, I didn't get one.
Okay.
I
know you
don't. I
don't.
don't have a good.
You've got one. Do you?
That right now.
Have you done anything with it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Runs around. I got bumpers on it.
Well,
For
I know
turning
one
right
of
and left.
Ray's original goals was to have competitions. So
having competition always spurs people into doing more with the stuff that they've got.
What I was thinking was, if we do you want one of the robots?
Not at the moment.
He's got way too much stuff.
Well, not at the moment because, I'm working on something else, and I don't have a good working space for it right now. So.
What was your whole thought?
Well,
You were trying to get it out.
I'm thinking that we should hold like either special meetings or other meetings when everybody that owns the robots, maybe down at your place or whatever, to not build, because I think we're all past building, but learn how to program them.
Okay.
Make sure that our electronics are right, and make sure that everybody's up to programming and doing stuff with
I
it.
think what we need is a line follower sensor detection program. I mean, that's everything else is really pretty much there.
I think we need to decide what we should do for our first contest. Maze following or
If you get
Speedy or-
if you get the sensors, you can do the maze, you can do line tracer. These things are just kind of limit to what speed you want to have, so you can't race them. But
you could try.
I mean, you could. But they wouldn't beat my Sumo thing.
See who can follow the line the fastest.
Yeah.
Well, I think if that's going to be the goal for a race, we need to like get together and figure out, do some basic programming and let everybody else go.
You need a model.
This is the tweak, and this is the tweak that I made to make it go better or whatever.
Yeah. That's this little bit of math that goes into doing that line.
Little.
Thing. Okay. That's a mistake.
So,
a little bit of math.
Are you traveling anymore or?
Oh, from time to time, yeah. I'm Cleveland. I was in Urbana today, so yeah.
Well, yeah, but see, all that's in Ohio. That's like local.
Yeah, I got some stuff going on in Asheville and Birmingham and somewhere in Texas and
Well, so
New York and LA.
Basically, what's a good day? Because I kind of need a heads up. I can't just.
Hey, you guys want to come over today?
Right. And if we had an actual real goal in mind.
What if we had a clubhouse building?
Wow.
2,000 square feet.
Well,
Garage door, regular door.
that's all I'm saying is if we actually had a real goal in mind to do this, we could have Jim send everybody an announcement that it's going to happen, and everybody that either wants a robot or has a robot can have a special day to do that. And then we could try to make it like a regular every week or every other week to get everybody up, and then say like in a month we'll actually have the competition. I mean, does that sound like a reasonable thing?
Yeah.
I think you should write a paragraph. Describe it. Documentation. Jim would probably say that.
Been running past the Grand Prix.
What's the plan?
Um,
Because the only thing that I think about is the scanner. I mean, it's good to focus on all the other stuff, but that truly is the missing piece.
the scanner.
And
The
Oh, the line sensor?
the line sensor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
TCRT 5000.
And
scanner.
a routine to keep the thing centered on the line.
Yeah.
Or detect the edges if you're doing edges.
Well, that's where
That's where the competition comes in.
But the competition is
because-
to build the stuff to do that?
no.
Every robot basically is the same. Everybody's you've got the same sensors, the same Arduino, the same gearboxes and batteries. The difference is going to be in
The program.
here's our basic code that lets you do line following. Now it's up to the rest of us to see who can improve the algorithms, see who can come up with a better, faster technique for doing all of it.
The whole idea behind doing like maybe 3 or 4 sessions before the actual competition would be
You
to.
need more than 3 or 4.
Well, no, that's kind of the thing would be get everybody up to speed quickly so we could start having fun with these robots.
I guess what I'm thinking though is,
You've been messing with these things for over 6 months.
yeah, you know how to drive the wheels, you know how to turn right, you know how to turn left. It's really the
But-
navigation kind of and
Don-
sensing kind of thing.
Don's not here, and I know Don's got one. Has Don messed with his yet?
He's got some of your stuff in there. He's messed with it.
So I know that the way that I program, you know, something that's you're looking for something.
It's not the same the way I
It
do
is
it.
not the same as most anybody does. I'm a very much fuzzy logic person.
Okay, I like to model it at least so that it makes sense to me, and then
Well, that's-
I will actually spend some time trying to make it
See,
work.
that's why, because just like his problem, there's probably a dozen different ways to accomplish the same thing, and that's why we need to set
No,
time
I'm for that.
ahead.
I'll give you an example of programming styles. Okay, I did a wire welding machine. I did a programmable logic controller, all that stuff here in Westchester, and basically what it does is it takes a strap of wire and curls it and then starts stretching it out. But when you have wire that you're stretching it, if you pull on it too hard, it snaps. Well, when you got 30 feet of wire and you snap it, you might as well treat it like a bullwhip. So you have to be delicate with it and how much stress is on it and all that fun stuff. But I can't hard code those numbers. So everything in my software was based off of what is the pressure here, what's the pressure there, what is the take-up length, what is going on over there. And it was like 50 variables. It just, all of it was floating and very fuzzy as far as what was actually happening. And the dynamic speeds, I guess the whole term to solve all of it was dynamic. So I'm sitting there, you know, tweaking and changing and, you know, writing my software. And a guy comes up and goes, "So how fast is this going?" Like, I have no idea. Well, what's this doing? I have no idea. What's that doing? I have no idea. How do you know what all this is doing? It's all working together based on gains, you know, multiplication factor numbers, an equation that ties everything together.
You were doing like a lot of PID stuff like that, weren't you?
That would be a
It sounds like
a nice way to term it. Yeah.
You were doing some experimentation.
It wasn't just experimentation. It wasn't like, hey, I don't know what numbers I put into it lately. It was all equation based. So where, you know, these 5 items come together to create a number that dealt with these other items that dealt with everything downstream. And depending on how much pressure was happening, how fast things were going, and how much take-up space was available, then that would affect how fast things go downstream and how quickly I could accept things from upstream. And I couldn't sit there and tweak it all day long. You know, I have to put all this stuff to dynamically work together, you know, years after I'm gone.
And I would be willing to bet that if you actually took apart that library for the Zumo,
Yeah.
there's a whole lot of, we don't know, but we're going to take a guess because we counted this motor.
Yeah. It's actually there. The problem with that library, I have a problem with the library, is the sensors don't match up with what the libraries.
I know, and
have. That's why I gave you that one.
I started messing
I
with
said
it.
I might have messed up the other one, so I got a good one. It's brand new. Let me let Leroy try. You know.
Some of the problems with the Zumo and other robots is how wide is the line, and
Well, you know the line. The
how dark.
line is 3/4 of an inch. It should be up like a 1/2 inch from the lightness darkness is really not real sensitive to that. You can have like a lighter. It doesn't have to be absolutely black. That
Okay,
you can have
great.
a variable. it does need to be about 3/4 of an inch. Actually, an inch works better. So that kind of stuff, it's there.
How far apart are your sensors?
Ooh,
They're close.
they're close, very close. Ooh,
They're closer than that.
Yeah.
It's 6 of them too. And you're doing a calculation and you're doing averaging, which all kinds of make sense, except for when you're monitoring what comes out of those sensors, it's like, what is this?
And there's only 5 sensors on here, and I was pretty sure you had 6. They're spaced different on this one. I believe they're spaced the same on this one. They're non-existent here.
And when I was using them on mine, I was using them as drop detectors, not as line tracers.
Yeah, and I think you can do the drop detector. It's that riding that line, it's moving this way, it's going fast, and you're doing your averaging, as you go, and you're making adjustments. When you make adjustments.
Well, see, I think it's probably counting. It's probably got wheel encoders. I know the Zumo's got wheel encoders in it.
That's not what it's using.
Does it have them?
No.
It's got them.
It's got them, but it's not using it. It's really looking at that line that's doing averaging.
I don't think you
And
need
it
them.
makes a calculation as
encoders.
to whether I move to the left or whether I move to
Not for doing line following. You don't need encoders.
I think, but
you don't need
it goes fast.
it goes very
You don't-
fast.
You don't have time to worry about who the hell cares about wheel encoders.
Okay.
All you're looking for is which sensor am I seeing, and
You get the
what
value.
is my previous trending on? Am I going straight? If my previous trending says black, 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 okay, well, hey, I must be going in a straight line. Zip as fast as I can straight forward and keep seeing that black line.
Well,
As soon as I see something else, like slow down, hey,
that
turn
makes
right.
sense.
So there's the deal.
Well, that's why we all need to get together and program it.
I agree.
And then we need to tweak it for each one of our own things and see who comes up with a better tweak.
I think some of this comes down to, I know with the kids, it's like, if you use up your batteries, you need to be efficient with your batteries. Because when it gets down to the final run, he who has the strongest batteries is going to win.
Oh, that's why we need to come up with some challenges where batteries aren't necessarily
Why this
going to
is
be the.
Look, you can change
Well, this says voltage regulator right over there. So that everybody uses a voltage regulator, and the motor control board gets exactly 7.2. That way, battery voltage level is out of the question.
Until it drops below 7.2.
Yeah, then we're in trouble.
And you have these regulators for your sensors, and your battery is dropping. And if your battery drops below, the robot will still run, but drops below a certain level, and the sensors are messed up. So you still
Yeah,
go,
well,
"Ah."
yeah. But it,
we could make not based off of a line or anything else. We can make maze following robots where it could learn the maze using ultrasonic or another means.
That's true.
And
are you still in the idea of designing which competition, or
kind of. I mean, there's a bunch of different things we could do.
the whole reason I put the scribbler thing on there on these is because these have to have some purpose. Okay, what kind of stuff are you going to do? Line following, mazes, drawing a line. What are you going to do with them?
They have
Just
to have a
that-
mission.
The mazes though that like Hulu uses all use the line sensors.
They do.
We could build mazes that don't use line
We
sensors.
could use them.
We could use an
Yeah.
ultrasonic
Except the
or
ultrasonic thing is shaky, as you know.
it is, which begs
That's the
to
challenge.
how do we make it better than shaky? But you could do the same thing. I mean, this is how it works.
Yeah.
figure it out, make it better.
You could also do a combination too. So
Yeah.
it encourages you to be creative.
So
Just
I
like
think
Jim came up with that compass, which for the trash can thing was the breakthrough.
No argument.
what do you? I mean, are we thinking along the same lines then? Pretty much, we need to get together.
We need to
some
develop some
coding.
different kinds of competition.
And we need to get together, do some coding, and come up with 4 or 5 different challenges.
Since you got the doable robot there, we can always do sumo.
Oh yeah. Yeah, sumo is fine.
Yeah, put it in the ring.
It doesn't have to fall 5 feet in order to get thrown off the ring, okay? It could fall
You can build a board.
3 inches.
You can just build a board so it gets pushed out. It just turns out that with a smaller board. Everybody catches it.
If it falls off and it's only a ½ inch, it's not getting back on.
No, okay. The idea is to stay in the ring. And you can also put. This is what you do with kids.
Oh.
Put multiple in the ring at the same time.
I'm springing.
So
We could we probably could do something. Of course, none of us have the drawing ability right now on our robots, but we probably could do something with a challenge of making it draw something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
You
the
call
easiest one to do.
Text
would
to
be
speech. How about speech to
sumo,
text?
The sumo. That's the easy one to do because all you got to do is do line sensing. There's more to it if you put an accelerometer in there. You can do some different calculations, but mostly it's just travels the path and you run into something and you knock it off.
Well,
Now it's not going to go off by itself because it has edge sensing.
It might be interesting to have a challenge for drawing a given pattern that fastest, because then you get into a motor planning and into movement planning and motor control. Some optimization stuff in there too.
Yep.
So part of a challenge could be drawing a square.
Who could draw one perfect?
Who can draw a 12-inch diameter square?
Perfect.
Okay, it's as close as possible.
12-inch diameter
12
square.
diameter, whatever, 12-inch square. You got me on that one.
The radius of the square is round.
It goes back to, what is the quadrature of a square? I can't believe they had a lecture on a freaking quadrature of a square. It's not possible. From the day the minute I walked in, I said, it's not possible. He said, well, this is a lecture explaining why it's not possible. I was like, if you understand the question, you already know it's not possible. I'm sorry. So
If you do that, you need to be able to detect rotations. You're going to draw.
Which leads to yet another programming kind of class kind of thing.
there's also a harmonic patterns called roses or hypoconchoids, which was it was probably the foundation of my senior design for my bachelor's degree. They turn out looking really pretty, and just other than hey, my square's not really square. You've seen people do like the spiderweb looking artwork. You can get nice artwork coming out of a robot that looks
I've seen people do spirograph kind of things with them.
Do spirograph stuff.
Yeah.
Hypoconchoid roses, whatever, spirograph.
Spirograph.
Okay. So
Same thing.
you're gonna make this proposal to the Grand Poobah.
I will propose it, but I need to know a date. What's good?
As of now, any day you want.
You can make the proposal.
Hey, I am doing the best that I can to sell out everything I can and get into a different business where I don't have to travel.
Okay.
Okay, so, but I would rather not just drop off and retire, and I want some money coming in.
Well, I mean, like part of what I said was if other people want to come that don't have robots, are you going to have some?
Yeah, I can make them within a couple days.
So we kind of need to, like an RSVP, that kind of thing, if they don't have a robot to deal with.
I can always put together some kit robots. It's not that hard. I got short on some parts, and I ordered some of the emergency stuff. Like my bulk amount of parts, they're not going to be here for probably another 40 days.
But between us, we probably have enough parts to get.
I don't know. I've got enough to build probably another 10 robots.
Okay.
But I don't have enough to build 300.
I'm with you. I don't think 300 people are going to show up to this. I'd be very impressed if 300 people showed up.
I probably have enough to build 10 or so. But we just need to know who's wanting what.
Do you want one?
I prefer to observe, but thank you.
Okay.
Notice I didn't phrase that as poison laugh.
Well, they're pretty much going to be available. I mean,
point and laugh, it would be like, hey, that's stupid.
Is this be a stock card thing, or can we do modifications?
Do all the modifications you want. It's great.
It's up to you.
That's the point of it, is to have a foundation robot to build whatever you want. You don't even have to stick with these controllers. The reason for making these robots was that when I started designing them, nobody had robots in the club.
That's not true.
Okay, and me, and we wanted to make it a very low-cost way for all of us to have a robot that we could experiment with, play with, and become part of the team competition against each other, but still be within everybody's budget. And Frank is the one here saying, I don't want to pay more than $10. So,
and I'm supposed to be the one that's cheap.
So to a degree, I'm not with this, but I'm using other people's money.
So we have found some very inexpensive build techniques, componentry, resourcing, and so forth. And
plus, the cost has gone down since we started.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we started, those things used to cost. It was more than $25 for a Mega.
Yeah,
and $25 for Uno.
And now we're using an off-brand build. It's called a DCC Duino, and I can buy the Mega 2560 version for around $7. The
thing is the costs have gone down and the robots have gotten better.
Way better. Yeah.
Yeah, you should see the original.
Yeah. It's embarrassing.
I still like.
It's kind of addictive too, because what happens is you start buying stuff. Well, I don't have this, and then, like I got about 40 of these connectors. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's only a couple dollars. You buy them on eBay, you got free shipping. It's like, okay, buy a couple dollars of this.
My wife said something is always coming in the mail.
It's Christmas. Every day at my house is Christmas.
I don't know.
I thought you got a pretty good Christmas box from me.
Yes, I was very happy. And if I didn't say thank you, I meant to. So thank you very much.
It's interesting. You're probably looking in the Christmas box thinking, what the hell is that? What the hell did Ray put that in there for?
Actually, everything that you stuck in that box, I saw almost an immediate purpose for it. He stuck a bunch of maker stuff in it. I mean, clothespins and
between me and Jim and Leroy, we did a little Christmas thing today, and I gave him a 6x6x6 box, something like that.
That size box, I think.
No,
smaller.
It was
A little
than
smaller.
this.
Yeah.
So I just
it was this box.
no.
No, that was.
That's
That's
Did you have the circuit board or the
No.
motherboard?
No, I've been using that box to carry other stuff around.
Okay,
It's a
so
hand
I
box.
gave him a box and it had
Clothespins.
a golf ball, circuit boards,
Miscellaneous stuff.
little bitty, yeah,
I saw,
mini pro board,
but
a whole bunch of stuff.
I'm sitting there looking. Jim was the one that actually questioned some of the stuff, and I went, "This is great! I can use this! I can use this!" Just totally random stuff.
It wasn't right. It all came out of my build area.
What am I going to throw away to make space?
It all came out of my build area, so it was not junk at all.
It was not junk,
No.
and I don't think anybody ever said it was junk.
No. But it is possible somebody would look at it and say, "What the hell was Ray thinking to give me this?"
So that's actually not a good picture, but that's
Similar to the robots.
my original. I guess we'll call it an alpha robot at this point.
Yeah. Considering this is the only one that's actually been released to anybody, it's only been released to you guys. So all the rest of it's, they're still pre-release. But I want to get the half droid, the full droid, and then the quad, because it's done, really.
Yeah.
So it'll work.
I've got a quad and
And
I've got one of the droids, but I don't have the right stands to make the droid work. Or not the droid, the round.
That?
Yeah, I've got one of those. I don't have the right.
You need to toss it. We'll just laser you a new styrene frame.
Okay.
Just get you another styrene frame. These are, they're so much better designed than we originally had.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
And the cost, it's only like $2 worth of plastic. The styrene itself. It is. Yeah, $2.
I've got one of your one. In fact, the round one that I've got doesn't have the hole cut in it in the top because you forgot to do that, and I took it anyway because I said I'll still do something with it.
You wouldn't believe how many of these kits I've got. Just like, okay, well, done with that. I need the standoffs.
I couldn't find
Inside.
the little short standoffs. I couldn't find.
The 25?
Yeah, the 25.
It's like, okay, well, hey, this looks good, but it's missing a slot right there because we want to have the holes come out to the side. So, hey, don't need those. These are actually, we eliminated that part so that we could make the battery fit in longer. And that actually is the right part. Good. And there was no mod to that. I was like, I just was throwing them in. It's like, okay, well, these are good, but this mast has a, these are all spring loaded, so that once they go in, they'll snap. And so it's got a little spring-loaded portion in here. That one does not have spring-loaded, and it doesn't have the zip tie mounts on it.
Yeah,
Or
I thought
zip tie
you had
mounts.
made a change to the mount to the mast.
So yeah, I'm just trying to make little things that really don't cost anything more than just the time of lasering.
An extra laser cut.
Yeah, doing simple stuff like the very center hole here, instead of it being 0.75 millimeter diameter, I made it a little bit bigger, and so that the screw goes through the hole much easier, and then locks in there. So there's no glue holding that together, but it's just one screw.
Yeah, I was looking at how thin that is, and you've got that tapped hole going on in the center there.
That's not a tapped hole. That's basically it's a wood screw. It's a 2 millimeter. It's an M2 wood screw that goes through that.
Tapped holes.
It's not tapped.
That's old.
It's a
That's old
lasered
technology.
slot.
Oh, wait a minute.
We've got like 8 minutes. I don't see the
Any
Boy
edge of it?
Scouts showing up.
Just go.
See how that's a slot
We blows.
Yeah.
right there?
Oh,
Yeah, down there. That's just a tap.
Okay, I can
It's just
see
a
the side of the
slot.
screw from it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how the screw just gets lined up with the slot
Along
hole.
with the other
You just thread it
tabs.
in.
Yeah.
So there was no tapping in there at all.
learn something new every day, don't you?
Hey, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
So, as a
Doesn't have to contact full circumference on that. Just
it's not holding on very much.
yeah.
I had to make sure that this antenna mast section goes between the connector and the two connectors there. So when it goes up to the top, I didn't want it to be kicked off to the side. I wanted it to be a little bit more symmetrical, so I slid it over.
You use that mast as part of the battery cover too, didn't you?
No, it holds the battery in place so it doesn't come out. So now I don't have to use a rubber band down there.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Which still gives you you left the battery, the rubber band, so if you don't want the top part, you've still got the option of smart.
Yeah. I left it there. So, and then I've converted everything. Right now those are fully drilled out to 10 or 11 millimeter, but I've converted all the designs to actually having the pop outs. So yeah, you can go to 3 millimeter for the stripped apart pen, or you can go to the larger diameter for using a marker. It's a standard marker that is floating around my house. But I'm just trying to use standard parts and stuff, but I probably have about 8 kits that are now in this form rather than in that form.
Well,
Don't need anymore. Oh, does this have any value? It's a servo horn.
it's a servo horn.
Yeah, I just threw them into the drawing because I had to have them for the top to make sure that my
I don't know.
my new servo horns go on to the pre-existing servo horns.
Yeah.
Because I can't I can't put little teeth on there to make them match real easily. Not if I want to do a high-speed production and slow everything down, but then it's just I want it to be designed for manufacturability, so that even in a worst-case scenario of the poor production, then it still looks pretty good. I just threw them in the drawing. I figured, hell, if I don't use them, we don't use them.
I don't know. I've got stacks of servo horns because I don't use them.
Got boxes. I went down, and when I get free time, I go down to the shop and start sorting things. I have boxes full of airplane parts and airplane tools. I don't need.
Don't need them.